Will Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch return in the Predator franchise? Well, it's looking like Dan Trachtenberg is leaving the door open at the very least. He hasn't out and out refuted it. He hasn't out and out stated that, yeah, he will. But he's definitely open to it by the sounds of it. This is an interview with Polygon where the director Dan Trachtenberg discusses the end sequence of Predator Killer of Killers and what that means for the future of the franchise. A lot of people seem to think that Dutch was in Predator Killer of Killers. He wasn't. The director would have said in this interview if he was. I know people would like to reference IMDb as, like, there's like some trivia on IMDb, I think, which states Dutch was in it. I mean, they might retcon it, I guess. I don't know. But you'd think that they would have just stated in this interview if that was the case. And anyone can add stuff to IMDb if you pay for IMDb Pro. So it's not exactly legit at all. So let's take a look at this, shall we? Predator Killer of Killers gives Arnold Schwarzenegger a perfect path to return. Now, that is true. Could he return? Yes. Would he? I don't know. Yeah, he's definitely getting on a bit now. If you've seen him lately, time has definitely crept up with him, unfortunately. The legend that is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Would he return? I don't know. I think he'd be more keen to return to voice something than he would to go live action. For those that don't know, he was supposed to appear in The Predator, but he binned it off because it was a pretty terrible role for him. And yeah, he wasn't interested in it. So let's take a look. See what you guys think of this. Leave your thoughts down below, shall you? So basically, the closing sequence shows a whole bunch of cryopods, right? And those cryopods are from champions that have bested predators on any planet. So it says this. Obviously, we had to ask Trachtenberg whether he's planning a Killer of Killers sequel, whether he wants to see Dutch back in action, and more questions about that big reveal, just as obviously we had to put his answers after a spoiler break. So, here we go. In the movie, 3 humans from far-flung eras, a Viking raider, Japanese ninja, and a World War II pilot, blah 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 blah. The survivor is expected to face a massive leader credited as Warlord Predator. The end of the film spends a few short moments travelling through a facility where other captives are being kept on ice, including Naru, Amber Midthunder's protagonist from Prey. The implication is that anyone who kills a predator is collected for further battles, a huge change to existing predator lore, which is true. And also a major opportunity for Trachtenberg, Wasung, and anyone else playing around in this canon to bring back any Predator movie survivor, including Dutch. So the movie was made under the codename Warehouse, as that end moment was in the original idea pitch to the studio. And it felt like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I actually really like that comparison. I think that's fun. If you now watch that end sequence with Raiders of the Lost Ark in mind, that's very, very fun. Certainly Arnold, like many others, was a survivor of his story. And one could easily imagine him up there in cryo, along with any other Earth champion or champion from other planets. True? True. And Polygon notes, sure, one could imagine that, just as one could imagine the 77-year-old Schwarzenegger voicing an animated version of Dutch, who's fresh from the fight in the 1987 movie, instead of getting called back into battle as a, septuagenarian? I guess that is a man in his 70s. The animation medium and the cryo storage facility both seem like a perfect way to bring back old characters without considering the actors' ages or their ability to perform the kinds of acrobatic, dramatic action sequences seen throughout Killer of Killers. But the actual question is whether Trachtenberg himself is actively planning a sequel. His response, yes, certainly. The cool part of this movie is that it opens the door to tell these kinds of stories in different eras, in different places, in different planets. But also the further adventures of these heroes that we bonded with in a very unique way. So it does sound like he's planning to continue the story of those characters, which is interesting, I think. But he wouldn't confirm or deny whether he or 20th Century Studios have reached out to Schwarzenegger about the possibility. For one thing, the actor has repeatedly turned down chances to return as the role of Dutch. Not true. Not true. He was in Predator, is it Hunting Grounds? Right, he came back for that. So not actually true. Not true at all. But yeah. So he rejected a cameo in 2018's The Predator because he didn't like the script or the minor role. It was a terrible script and a terrible minor role as well. He turned up at the end. In the original script, which I have, he would turn up at the end and say, come with me if you want to live. Blah, blah, blah. You're all special, blah, blah, blah. And then the little like autistic boy was like, even me? He's like, even you. So, oh, God. Pathetic. But anyway. His possible involvement in a Killer of Killers sequel might depend on a lot of factors, besides Trachtenberg's interest or fans' fantasies about seeing Dutch in action again, which is true. So Trachtenberg says it's true that his Predator projects, including the live-action movie Predator Badlands coming to theatres in November, may suggest the possibility of sequel stories, even before any follow-up projects have been greenlit. He points to the closing credits of Prey, where a single animated frame foreshadows a battle to come, as a group of Predator ships emerge from the clouds above Naru's village. But we know what happened now, because Naru got snatched up. So, yeah. Now it looks like the teaser for Killer of Killers, with the understanding that those ships were arriving to abduct Naru, in the same way that final shot of her in Killer of Killers could tease a future animated or live-action animated story with her. But Trachtenberg says he can't plan around sequel projects just yet. Certainly, each of my movies are being made as if this was my only shot, which is the right way to do it. That's absolutely the right approach to take. Everything was thrown into it. Should we be able to do more? Certainly, Killer of Killers seizes something, and Badlands does too. Hopefully, there will be something more, but they don't rely on the something more. Hopefully, they are both cool within their own merit, which is absolutely the right approach to make any movie at all. Just make a good movie. You can have hints of something wider, but you don't leave it as, oh, well, that's the story thread still there. No. Complete the story, but leave it open for more things. So could Arnold Schwarzenegger return? Yes, looking like he probably could do. Does it look like Trachtenberg wants him to come back specifically? Not really. It looks like he's open to it, but nothing has sort of moved past this sort of very early conception point, I guess, just thinking about it conceptually. So there you go. I don't have much else to say. Was he teased? Not really, by the sounds of it. I think he would have Trachtenberg would have taken the opportunity to say so. So there you go. Schwarzenegger returning for Predator Killer of Killers sequel. Maybe, but probably not.